Hello and welcome back to my FPL channel. I am FPL Dgw and today you are here for final plugs and double game week 24 team selection. Yes, the first double game week of the season. Look, we are so close to 500 subscribers. So if you are new, please think about pressing the subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on the video. You'll notice that I am doing a few different things here. I've been playing around ever since I've got back to Australia where I'm sitting in my setup. Let me know if you're liking the changes, if you're not liking them, because I won't know without honest feedback. So don't be afraid to write some positive or constructive feedback in the comments section. I've come up with my own transition. I don't know if it's any good. Let us know. You're about to get your first taste of it right now. So let's see what you think and let's dive straight into final plugs for game week 24. So you need to be setting up your team for double game week 24 with your transfers, preferably this week. But you shouldn't be too hung up on getting in Liverpool players or Everton players if it's going to affect your team long term. Now, most people have already got their 3 Liverpool players. I got mine in for the Ipswich game. It didn't work out quite so well for me. I'm torn at the moment between getting Mikalenko or not. I'm literally making this video. I've been prepping for it all day. But look, I just don't know whether Everton player is really worth it. And I feel like I'm more likely to roll the transfer or hope that Clivert or whoever doesn't rise in price overnight prior to, I just want another day to think about. I want to see how Man United and the Europa League games go tonight before I actually make a move. And I think that that's preferably the way to go. But I suppose let's have a look. Defensive replacements this week. If you are bringing them in and you are bringing them in, Trent Alexander-Arnold is definitely number one. He is the person to bring in. Now, in terms of goalkeepers, for me, it's Alisson in front of Pickford still, but I still don't think you should be making a goalkeeper transfer. A lot of people selling Raya. I don't think he's a good transfer out. So for me, I wouldn't be going there at all. Second, in terms of defenders in, it is Canade. I just think you've got to cover that Liverpool defence, and some people can't justify spending up for Trent, so I think you definitely have to cover it with someone. So Canade is definitely the second best place there. Mikalenko comes in at number 3. I'm still not sure. The more I think about it, the more I think it is a trap. Do I want Mikalenko? And if it wasn't a double game week this week, would I be bringing him in? Hell no, I would not be bringing him in. So based on that line of thinking, I don't know if it's a good transfer in or not. So that's my honest opinion. So yeah, I don't know. I just give you great caution on that. Munoz is still probably coming in at number 4, just in front of Kirkes. I did think Kirkes was above Munoz yesterday, but I think the fixture this week, realistically, I think Munoz has got more chance of returning than Kirkes. So for that reason, Munoz comes in at number 4 and Kirkes comes in at number 5 this week. In terms of midfield replacements, it's still Rodgers number 1. This dude just scored a hat-trick in the Champions League against Celtic. Forget Semenyo, forget Clivert, forget Dgw, whoever else you want to talk about, Ahmad. Rodgers is still number 1 this week. The man is in form. He is definitely not being sold by Villa. So for me, I 100% think that he is definitely the best person that you can get. So for me, if he's number 1 this week, and he'll probably be number 1 next week as well. Ahmad comes in at number 2. I still think that Man United are going to cause some damage against Crystal Palace. Obviously recording this prior to the Europa League game in order for a morning upload on Friday. I just think that Ahmad's probably a better pick this week. And I'm probably going to be rocking him in my team. Number 3 comes in at Clivert. He is on penalties, which is why he beats the other players out here. If it wasn't for the penalties, I don't think he'd be number 3. I actually think Semenyo will be number 3, but Semenyo comes in at number 4, followed by Dgw. And realistically, this gives me another week to think about my Bournemouth assets, which is why I really don't want to make a transfer this week. I just want to see how they line up. I want to see if Dgw, how he goes against Liverpool. Realistically, I want to see if Bournemouth sign a striker, because that's definitely going to impact my thinking. So reality, I just want to hold off to game week 25 when the transfer window is shut and we know exactly what team we're going to be getting. So for me, it's just definitely a wait there. And Murphy still comes in at number 6. He's still a really good budget option. Damsgaard is super unlucky not to make the cut here, particularly considering they're playing Tottenham, but he comes in at number 7. If you want to know who number 7 is, that is Damsgaard from Brentford. I just think he's a super cheap enabler, and he does have a lot of chance creation, particularly in that Brentford team. Expensive options. 100% this week it is Brian Mbuemo. Why? They've got Tottenham at home. God knows what Tottenham will show up. They might even get more injuries in the Europa League. I don't know. For me, Brian Mbuemo, he's number 1. Number 2 is actually Bruno, though. The exact same player. I've been talking about all week that they are literally the same player. If you've got one, you're not transferring to the other. I don't think. I've got Bruno on my team, and I haven't once thought about transferring him out for Brian Mbuemo. For me, it's all about Phil Foden and whether I just hold the faith, or if I just sit there and forgo Brian Mbuemo for a couple of weeks and then downgrade Trent so I can then upgrade Ahmad to Brian Mbuemo. But realistically, I think that might be a little bit too late and I might miss out on some of the points. So for me, that's where I'm thinking. Number 3, it's Szoboszlai from Liverpool. I just think that he's a great midfielder and I think that he's going to play both games and I think he's going to start, which is why he comes in at number 3 and Diaz comes in at number 4, because I just think Diaz will probably be benched in one of the games or he'll be taken off before 60 minutes in one of the games. So for me, that's just how I see it. Eze comes in at number 5. Can he return against Man United? Potentially. Will he? I don't know. Foden comes in at number 6. He has got Arsenal away this week. Next week, he'll definitely be higher on this list in terms of expensive alternatives. But realistically, he's going up against the best defence in the league. He didn't do much in the Champions League overnight. So for me, he's number 6, and he's probably going to be on my bench this week as well, based on that. He's never actually scored more than 4 games in a row, so I just can't see him doing it again this week. So that's just my personal opinion. Forward replacements, it does have to be Gakpo number 1 this week, Wissa number 2. It's actually the same as last week. Isak number 3, Mateta number 4, and Wood number 5. They are the best replacements this week. If you haven't got any of those players, that's how I rank them this week in terms of fixture. I'm very happy to have Wissa, Isak, and Wood. I wish I had Gakpo, but in reality, I'm quite happy having the other 3. It's safe to say there is definitely a need for Trent Alexander-Arnold the next 2 weeks, or someone of that Liverpool defence. I think you've got to cover it. They've got Wolves, obviously, after the double game week, so I really like that. And the lack of clean sheets means that sub-million 5 players are definitely the way to go moving forward. Timber potentially could come back in for me. I'm just not sure, but realistically, I think the sub-million 5 million guys are just getting it done week in weeks and paying up for the premium defence. I'm just not sure it's worth it. The forward 8 is where it's all about. Paying up there, getting the good players in on penalties that are consistently returning. They are the way to do it. So preparing for your use of the FPL chips. A lot of people should be playing their triple captain this week. You're going to see if I'm going to be playing it in about 2 to 5 minutes time. I promise you that. You will see this on that channel. Lastly, you also do have to have a look at whether you play the assistant manager chip if you've already played your triple captain. For me, it's no. David Moyes, I can't guarantee that he will even get a win against Leicester, let alone get a table bonus against Liverpool. And Arne Slot, he's got 2 away games. 2 on paper, not the easiest away games. I just don't think it's a banker. And then you're either playing on a single game week fixture. I just don't think there's any decent table bonus looking things this week that you can take advantage of. So for me, it's a no-go. You'll aim it for double game week 33 and double game week 36. Otherwise, just forget about it. Forget about it the next 5 weeks. Don't even think about it. That is my honest advice. It's now, as I said, it is now time though to come up with your strategy of how you're going to attack. Now, I have talked about it a bit in my Wednesday video. Please check that out if you haven't already. I do cover the chips and what I think you should be doing with them a little bit more. And for me, I'm the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm like debating about whether holding certain players is the right move. Like, is holding Phil Foden for the next 4 weeks over difficult fixtures a smart move when potentially I could have Brian Mbuemo? Is Brian Mbuemo going to outscore Foden over the next 4 weeks? You would say the chances of that are pretty damn high. But like it will then cost me 2 transfers to do it then and then do it back. So like that's the quandary I'm in. Like, I don't know if it's worth it, and that's why I'm such torn. But maybe I'm just being dumb and overthinking it. But we'll get into that in a second. And also, can you rock 2 of these players? Ahmad, Kluivert, Semenyo, Rogers, Murphy, and Dango? I think you can. I think you can even rock double Bournemouth midfielders going forward for the next few weeks. So look, that's just my personal opinion. And without further ado, let's just smash into how my team went last week, because yeah, it was interesting. So 54 points last week in game week 23. It was disappointing. I mean, Milinkovic and the Nottingham Forest defence destroyed me. And the fact that Liverpool conceded the 90th minute to Ipswich also destroyed me. Alisson Becker was on 6 points. Trent was on 9, potentially some bonus as well. And then obviously I lost it all and ended up with 7 points from the 3 players. And this was in a week where Arsenal double defence returned for both of them. So like, it was just hard. It was hard to watch. I pretty much got the entire team right. My 2 transfers in actually made me 0 points. Like, if I'd left the 2 transfers, I would have actually lost points. So I bought Wissa in for Jackson and played him, and Jackson actually got 5 points and Wissa got 2. So there you go. Sometimes making transfers that look like a lot of sense on paper don't always pay off. It has dropped me down to 10,395. not that bad. Like, realistically, I've still got all my chips in play. So, yeah, that's what we're looking at the moment. So, Alisson Becker, 2 points. The defence this week were just bad. I expected a lot more, considering that Hall, Liverpool had Ipswich and Southampton, and they didn't keep a clean sheet between them. And then Milinkovic conceded 5 goals. Are you kidding me? Like, how unlucky is that? In the midfield, it was disappointing. Palmer and Bruno Fernandes did absolutely diddly squat. And Phil Foden, literally, the man, he's the saving grace. He's the reason why I am where I am. He's just been so good. That's why I can't bring myself to sell him, but I may just have to do it before the deadline stream. We'll have to wait and see. I'm unlikely to make a transfer in this video, so just because I'm so unsure about what I want to do, where I want to go next week. That's the key. And I feel like I've also got the Brentford attack already covered with Wissa in my team. So obviously Moh Salah is captain. He was all right, but really it was Isaac. 2 goals again. This man just continues to deliver, man. Like, he is such a good player. He's in such a hot streak of form. Wissa and Wood had no goal involvement in this game whatsoever. He was super disappointing, and for me, that's just not good enough moving forward. So yeah, I just don't like that. Wissa, yeah, he was unlucky, man. It was one of them games. On the bench this week, I had Ahmad's 3 points, so really, I could have got an extra point in there. Robinson also could have got me some more points than Milinkovic. I got the benching decision in the defence completely wrong. I could have at least 2 points, because originally I was going to play Robinson over Milinkovic. That would have been better. Who could have predicted that Bournemouth were going to keep a clean sheet? I didn't. So I'm not even mad about the fact that Kirkers is sitting for the second week in a row with a return in the last spot on my bench. It's just a good sign that I've got a good bench moving forward. So, pick team. This is where it gets a little bit interesting. All right, everyone loves to see videos where the content creators back up what they're saying. I can tell you straight off the hot tip, we're going to press it. We're going to press the triple captain. We're playing the chip, baby. It is active. I don't even know. I think you can. Oh, you can actually cancel it, but I'm not going to be cancelling it. It will be active this week at double game week 24. I'm pretty happy with the way the team is lining up at the moment without making any transfers. I've got Alisson Becker and Trent Alexander-Arnold as my double up in the Liverpool defence. I'm optimistic that there can be 1 clean sheet across the 2 games. Probably looking at the Everton game. Look, realistically, if we somehow do really well against Bournemouth and they keep a clean sheet there, I'll be absolutely laughing, especially if like the attack doesn't really do much. But look, that's where I'm going. I've doubled up Liverpool defence this week. Hall has got Fulham at home, so he starts in front of Robinson. I just think that Newcastle are more likely to keep a clean sheet than Fulham, particularly at home. Milinkovic has got Brighton at home, and I think the way that Brighton play is much more suited to the way Nottingham Forest defend. So for me, that's an easy decision. In terms of the midfield, it is Palmer at home to West Ham United. I don't know why people are selling him. It just makes so much more sense if you have him in your team this week. Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad start as a double up in the Man United midfield. Now, I'm not convinced by this, and this could potentially change before the deadline, depending on whether I make a transfer or not on Phil Foden. But they are both starting at home, and depending on how Man United look in the Europa League, I might be very happy about this, or I might be very unhappy and want to change it. But I just think that Crystal Palace, they're not the best in terms of keeping out goals, so I just feel like there's potential for both of these players to return in that game, more so than Phil Foden away at Arsenal. Moh Salah is my triple captain. Bournemouth away, Everton away. The stats on this man suggest that he's going to deliver. Like, he's going to deliver. I think the last 4 weeks have not been pleasant. He's only made 20 points in the last 4 game weeks. I just got a feeling he's going to return. And normally I play it always on a double game week. And look, you can keep it for one of the others, but in reality, I'm not playing my assistant manager chip this week on my bench boost. So this has to be the week. Otherwise, I'm going to run out of double game weeks unless there's some miraculous weather events or whatever. It just makes most sense to play Moh Salah triple captain this week. And I have done it. I've activated the chip. We're going in, baby. Chris Wood, the Woody Woodpecker, he needs to deliver here, because I tell you what, he is in the firing line potentially next week if he does not show up and deliver against Brighton. Yeah, Woody, you need to get me some wood, baby. You need to get me some wood. So look, he's in the forward line. Isaac is there with the Fulham fixture. I'm expecting him to deliver goals, which is why Robinson is nowhere near my starting lineup. And then Wissa has the Tottenham at home fixture. And look, this man is an expected goal machine. I expect him to deliver. He delivers literally, his underlying data says he should deliver at least 1 goal every 2 weeks. So for me, he is definitely a lock. In terms of the defense this week, it is Fabianski, who doesn't look like he's playing anymore. It is Phil Foden, first sub on the bench at the moment. It is Robinson, then second sub against Newcastle away. And Kirkes again is taking up the last spot on the bench. I can guarantee you that next week Kirkes is in the starting lineup. I am hoping that this is going to take me back inside the top 10,000 teams. Realistically, I'm going up against a lot of people who are playing their triple captain this week, as well as me, as well as people that are going to have Cody Gakpo instead of my double up Liverpool defence, which does scare me a little bit. And people with Everton players, that doesn't really scare me too much. I think my single game week players are probably better than the Everton players they're going to pick. And Dye is not going to outscore any of my forwards, I don't think, unless they blank and they don't score. But I just can't see it myself. I don't think he's a very good transfer. You're better off going for one of these blokes instead. And but unfortunately, there are going to be people playing the assistant managership, and we don't know how it's going to go. There could be some surprise results. Some people could be gods and just work out what's best. So look, that's been it from me. Join me tomorrow for the deadline stream. I will be live from 9 o'clock in the morning. It's back to the normal time tomorrow, which is the UK, and I'll be live from 5 p.m. over in Australia. That's the time difference, baby. Thanks for watching. Make sure you drop a like, smash a subscribe as well. That's been my team selection final plugs for double game week 24. That's been the D Unit.